One. Let's go, you goy slop out there listening to the fun Talking Stitt podcast. Crossover today with the Welcome to the Foxxhole. 2 out of 3 members on here. And this is a fun little collaboration that we put together last minute. And we're just going to fire through a bunch of current events, weird stuff, and just stuff that's going on. So welcome to Talking Stitt. Welcome to the Foxxhole. SlyFoxx and Purple Pat. How you guys doing today?
What up, buddy?
Doing great.
Chilling on Sunday.
We're happy to be here. This is my first time on Talking Stitt, so I'm glad I got through the Zoom install and everything okay. So I'm glad I'm here.
So far, so good, man. Yeah, last time we had a little issues with me jumping on StreamYard with an older laptop, but I think we got it figured out this time.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Damn data centers and AI motherfuckers trying to take us out. That's what it is.
Yeah. At this point, it's almost like if you're for data centers, you're not paying any kind of attention to what's going on. Not only that, I almost agree with these people saying go out and do saboteur type things with the data centers. Like it's almost to that point where AI just needs to stop.
Yeah, in Minecraft, wink, wink. But yes, I'm with you because there is something to it. It's like we're building our own demise, you know?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that are like, well, it's a good paying job to build this. You're like, what if you were building Satan's castle, man? He's probably going to pay you great, but I mean, what's going to happen afterward is the next question.
Well, not only that, but these data centers, once they're built, they provide no jobs. You know, what does it take? Like 2 to 3 people per data center to keep the thing up and running? Everything's automated.
Good point. What do you think?
That's what Eric Weinstein was on Joe Rogan last week shilling about. The entire 2.5 hours was him not blaming Israel for anything and going about, well, just don't call it a data center, call it an aluminum siding factory. Are we going to have the same problems if we called it an aluminum siding factory? And it was 2.5 hours of slop. It was ridiculous. But I think because I've got one going up less than half a mile, maybe a mile across the field from my work. And I was looking into it, and apparently they never even asked the townsfolk. The city board just approved it, and that was that. And it's the second largest in my state that got approved so far. So now my governor is now kind of rescinding and kind of listening to the people. He's taken away the tax breaks that were going to these data centers, and then they've started to write into the contracts that when they do come into these areas, they have to bring their own energy.
Well, that's to me, that's day one shit. If you're going to come into an area and suck that place dry, you need to provide your own form of fusion, nuclear, something to power yourself. Because, I mean, what are we talking about? Like tripled power bills, people's water supply going to shit already. Like it. And this is forced down our throat, basically. I mean, like he said, you know, it went straight through the city council with nobody telling them anything. The people didn't know.
And there's all these videos too of speaking of like city councils and stuff, and people's voices being heard or whatnot. There's people going and protesting these things and going against the votes, and it's not doing anything. They don't even care. It's like, so the people are outraged and nobody's even listening.
Yeah,
well, because we can't do anything about it. They know for a fact we can't do anything about it. They've already signed whatever contracts it is that they sign when they go on these all expenses paid trips to the headquarters of these data center companies. And it was funny because Joe Rogan kind of touched a little bit on it when he was talking to Weinstein. He was like, because Weinstein, for those who don't know, is the guy that owns the one that's going to be put up in like Oklahoma or Nebraska that's going to like suck up more power than the entire state combined by like 10 times or whatever. And he was like, well, it's not even like this whole thing is going to go up in one go. He's like, we're going to have, you know, tenants and people hosting data for people and servers for people, whatever. He's like, so we'll have a couple buildings go up. We'll see how it goes. And then we might not even use the entirety of it. It might just prove to be, you know, not beneficial. But he kept saying the same thing that everybody else keeps saying. Oh, it's going to bring jobs. Okay, it's going to bring construction jobs for 2 to 5 years. And those aren't even like the construction jobs that you need. You need specialist construction, which only a few kinds of people can fucking do and accommodate for.
And then you'll need programmers and stuff in the beginning. And then once it's on its own and self-sufficient from there, it's on its own, you know?
Yeah, all it does
you need custodians, but like that's about it.
Yeah, provide 0 jobs and ruins the environment. And I'm not like some fucking hippie tree hugger here, but these things are terrible.
Here's the question: what happened to all the climate change is going to end the world, and all this is going to be the end of everything? And we got to save the environment. Where's Al Gore at on climate center or climate change on and data centers?
That's a good point, because the left has always been super, super, super. We're gonna stop climate change. We're not gonna let humans destroy the earth, but they're completely fine with this. Everybody's completely fine with this now when it comes to big money and big government.
Well, I don't even think they have a choice. I think both sides have been co-opted by it, and I don't know. I've been playing the market for like 2 months now, and it's given me a little bit better of an insight in watching the real-time politics and then watching the money move like either right before or like directly after. It's kind of really funny to me, especially like when Eric Weinstein was talking about miniaturizing nuclear reactors and stuff like that, because China already has it. They've got a nuclear reactor the size of a box truck that they can just pull up, and you've got 2 gigawatts worth of fucking energy.
I think they're the first of the fusion power too.
Yeah, they're the first ones that were using it. So like I've got stock in nano nuclear, which when they were talking about it was only like 10, $12, and then it jumped up to 27, jumped up to 28, jumped up to 35, And it's really interesting to see. It's in these newer companies that are coming out, it's kind of showing the direction we're heading in, because now you've got one that came out this last month called Rare Earth America. What is their job? What do they do? They mine rare earth minerals in the Americas, on American soil.
Probably right around where that hurricane hit over on the East Coast last year, 2 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah, and then they also find all the rare minerals in Appalachia and everything now, and it's like so. Also, like you bring up China, the China thing is funny because it's this like this big boogeyman to where it's like, well, if China doesn't get there, we got to get there first before China gets there. And you're like, but what if the end is the same result regardless of who gets there? Like, why are we racing to this? Like, who gets to stick their head in the fire first?
Well, we've been in that Cold War mentality since the 70s and 80s that we're just trying to be there first. We want to get it done first, so we own the technology and we know what to do with it first. But like you said, in this, I mean, nobody wants it, but we're in a globalistic society now. I don't think, like I was thinking about this the other day, maybe a bit of a tangent, but I don't think your average Russian guy, like sitting at home or going to work, hates your average American guy, or your average Chinese guy hates, your average Canadian. I don't think it's like that. I think everybody wants to go towards a purpose. So when you say it doesn't really matter who gets there, as soon as someone gets it, everybody gets it nowadays.
Yeah, good point.
It's not like China can just hold on to this technology and just, rule over the world with it. It's
right. Well, yeah, and even with like the good point about Russia, because that's always been this big boogeyman before China was, because China just moved to the boogeyman after Russia. USSR, right? But you go see like Tucker Carlson go over to Russia. My father-in-law, he plays acoustic guitar, and he like kind of collects high-end acoustics and stuff. So he meets people all over the world on different forums and things. And there's a guy he's traded with that's in Russia, like can't remember what area, but anywho, he's like, David, half the stuff you see on your TV about Russia is not what it is over here. And it's like we are the most psyoped country on the planet. And it really is crazy because you're like, oh, what? Other things don't happen around. Yeah, other things happen around the world for sure, but they already know they're being psyoped. We're fucking retards that are like just eating up the bullshit. And also with, bitching about boomers and stuff. A lot of the boomers are the reason why we are in this situation and predicaments now. Because I get it if your house goes up in value because you bought it at 40,000 40 years ago or 50,000, now it's worth 400,000. You don't want to sell it because you've got capital in it. But at the same time, that's what's kind of fucking up the housing market as well. And we're looking at like almost another 07, 08, recession situation. It's right around the fucking corner. It's like, what's first? Nukes, if they exist, the recession, manufactured or just accidental. Like, where the hell are we going now?
I'm with you on out of all those little things, I think we're going to see another market crash.
Yep.
My thing is, I don't know how you blame the boomers for a lot. Seriously. But you can't blame them for banks giving people bad loans and not following through with loans. Like, it's people buying stuff that they shouldn't be buying because they don't have the financial, status to buy those things is how we got into 2008, right?
Right. Yeah.
The reason we can't afford anything anymore is COVID. COVID was designed to clear out everybody's finances and clear out your
Exactly.
savings and clear out your day to day. Now everybody, the common man who has not been able to recuperate their savings, is still 5 years later barely scraping fucking by.
Yeah, it's still check to check to check.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's only going to get worse because, it's fucking hilarious that what did we spend so far, like 60 billion or something, somewhere in that ballpark to, blow shit up in Iran. And then now Trump's proposing giving them 300 billion in reparations for what we blew up. And you're like, you
Yeah, they're so
motherfuckers,
confused.
like, and people are still buying this Trump train shit. I'm like, I'll be honest, in 2015, I was on it because I'm like, well, fuck Hillary. But at this point, man, like, kind of back to the boomers. Like, anytime I post, it's funny, Instagram versus Facebook, even though it's the same company. If I post something anti-Trump on Instagram, I'll get a lot more because I'll try to, make funny stuff, or I'll, even put like a little thought and nuance into it. And younger people love it. But then I go post the same fucking thing because it posts on both on Facebook, and then anybody 50 and older just starts going crazy because I live in Oklahoma. And I'm like, dude, you can criticize your president. Don't be loyal to them. They're supposed to be loyal to us.
I mean, I think the biggest curse of the boomer generation, but not all the things they did, but the thing that screws them over the most in making all these bad mistakes is the fact that they will never lose faith in the news networks.
Yeah.
CNN, ABC, NBC, they still watch those things like it's biblical. I have a stepmother that watches The View and just makes her like, she is pissed off 24/7 because she watches The View and they tell her all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how can you possibly function as an adult and function in society if you're always angry about shit? And that's what this is designed to do.
Right.
So
Sam Tripoli always says about when he comes home and his girlfriend Dana's sitting on the couch watching MSNBC, and he's like, "Why?" It makes me mad every time.
Straight up. See, when we get to like the division, and we'll move into like the next topic, I guess. So like with the Carmelo Anthony thing, with the Chud the Builder shit, like here we've got people trying to compare both cases to Rittenhouse, which I thought was just the mental gymnastics to compare the two is just funny as fuck to me.
Remember when
But
Kyle
like,
Rittenhouse shot 3 black guys? No, I'm joking.
you remember when he
That
randomly
was
shot into a crowd of protesters?
continue though. Yeah, the equation they're trying to make right now is bullshit.
Yeah, and and I don't know how if people have like caught up with it, but we had like 20 witnesses day one, whatever, talk about it, and they completely shot to fuck the kid's self-defense claim. They shot it
Completely
off.
gone. Yeah.
it's coming out now. Even all the black students that were at that event are saying, yeah, he just stabbed me.
Yeah, and the thing is, there's more reports coming out, like testimonies and stuff or whatever in the courtroom, and everybody was freaking out because there's no black jurors. Yeah, the people that were going to be potential black jurors said that they're going to have a bias in the case. That's why there were potential black jurors. They all said, "I'm going to side with the black guy," and so then you go into
this in the pool, but they got struck.
Yeah. And then you go into the same exact idea of like you've got these protesters outside the courtroom and stuff like that, and they're getting interviewed on camera. And some of these people, I mean, I'm an idiot that talks on camera. I don't give a shit. But there's other people that just should not be on video, right? My point is like they're out there saying that, well, we don't need to know the evidence. We're going to stand with our brother. We're going to stand with, and you're like, this is the problem in the country right now, is this division that they stoke the flames of it. The big whoever it is, the Jays, the gays, the grays, the whoever the fuck, man, like, the media's, they know that these divisions exist, but they're perpetrated by the media, and they're just, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that video doesn't have to go out of that girl, but they put that girl out there to make all the white people go, see this shit, we're on fucking under attack. And dude, I mean, but there is truth to it too. So I don't know. It's a fucking crazy case, man.
It's really easy to control a populace when the populace hates each other.
Yeah. Because then they don't focus on the powers that be.
Yeah,
we've got class war,
war, and everything like that. And they never even think to look at the Congress or what's actually happening. So yeah, the more that they can put this shit out there and drive the division, it's just better for them and their cause. So,
you guys see any recent updates on the SPLC stuff?
I did not.
No, it's like since it dropped out of like the major news, I haven't seen dick.
There's a couple new updates as of like yesterday or the day before. Turns out they weren't just infiltrating stuff and organizing. No, they were paying for KKK robes. They were paying for cross burnings. They were paying like cross, state travel, airplane tickets and all. Like basically, all the receipts are coming out right now. Like, hey, we're here to stop racism. Meanwhile, we're paying and funding all of it. That sounds like the government. Hey, we got to stop terrorism. Meanwhile, 5 years ago, we gave them all those guns and funded it. You're like, you fucking idiots.
That sounds like a South Park plot.
It does.
Well,
Yeah.
you remember when we were wondering where they managed to find, 300 fucking torches, butane, propane torches in the middle of fucking North Carolina. Like nobody has that many. Where did they find 300 fucking torches?
Right. See, they weren't white supremacists, dude. They know that, malaria is a big problem for black people. So walking around with citronella candles to keep the mosquitoes away, it was actually, I mean, it was a helpful thing, man. It was misconstrued.
It was the most non-racist event ever.
And it's hilarious. They're all in like khakis and polos and shit. And you're like, what the fuck? These guys just got out of accounting jobs. Like, it's almost
Not one credit rating below 700 in that whole group.
Mm-hmm. Well, back to the Chud the Builder, dude. So like this discussion right now of like all this race stuff. I mean, there is a bunch of race stuff going on, and we know that the news uses these talking points and these words. Like, have you seen teen takeovers? Have you seen that term yet? Teen takeovers. And 99.9% of them on video are all one specific color, and you're like, well, wait a minute. Isn't that kind of what Chud was talking about? That's kind of chimping out behavior.
This isn't new, though. I mean, these block lockdowns like that with cars and the circles and stuff, they've been going on for 30 years.
No. We're not talking about those. We're talking about like where literally all they do is you've got 100, 200, 300 teenagers just running wild, just jumping on cars, breaking shit, stealing shit.
Busting
it happens mostly like here, like in the cities and shit.
Mass robbing, looting.
They're like fucking lemming. It's just lemmings.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, how does it's all attention driven? Like you were talking earlier with the girl that gets on the camera at the courthouse and starts saying dumb shit into the camera. She goes home and she turns on the TV and she gets all her family around and say, "Look, I'm on the fucking TV." Like,
clicks and likes, brother.
Yeah, that's kind of the same thing with with Chud the Builder too. Like, it would be the same as me going to what's that town in New Jersey that's full of Jews? It'd be like me being a noted anti-Semite and then going there and just walking around waiting to get harassed by some fucking Jewish person who recognizes me. And then me beating ass and expecting no problem from it. Like, I'm asking for that problem by having myself out there and that image of me. You're going to get eventually somebody's going to come at you sideways. And like you've already cultivated that to yourself to the point where you carry a firearm for the explicit purpose of self-defense. You've said it yourself. You're going to make somebody angry enough to where you have to shoot them in self-defense. And when you say stuff like that, that's premeditation. You can't say that.
I'm glad he said that. I'm glad he said it like he said that because that's exactly what it was. Yeah, if you go to a situation knowing that you have a lethal arms on you to start shit, and then that shit turns into a killing, that's premeditated. You went there to start shit, and shit was start. It's the fuck around and find out, right?
Right. And then with the AI shit and everything, it's like movies, imitating art, life, all that crap. You got, Minority Report and this pre-crime. So then if we're going to start, and I'm not defending Chud in this situation, but I'm also just saying as more situations occur of this, then you're going to get into the weeds of like, okay, well,
yeah, but
this person's carrying, but he's also saying he's willing to shoot somebody. But I carry and I'm willing to shoot somebody if I have to protect my family, not in a self-defense provoking area, but I'm just saying like we're going to get into this pre-crime era, which is coming soon with this AI, flock cameras, surveillance and shit too.
Right, but we're supposed to already be there. Think of all the last mass shootings or like Trump's shooting and things like that. They're always on FBI radar. That is pre-crime. That is the person being tracked for criminal behaviors.
Yeah, but a lot of that's manufactured, though. A lot of that's manufactured. That's not necessarily them predicting crime so much as this guy seems like he could potentially be it. They poke in because there's Sean Ryan had the interview with the former FBI undercover guy. He worked mostly white supremacist cases and Boogaloo cases, the Boogaloo Boys in Georgia. He worked all of that, and he talked about that. He's like, yeah, we just troll the fucking online boards, and then we find somebody who we think might be, a little loose or, a little bit more like willing to take action, and then they reel them in. You want a friend? Well, I'm a friend. I'm local. Where are you? You know what I'm saying? You need a rifle? I got an extra rifle. You know what I mean?
They did that in the early 2000s, chat room boards and stuff like that, finding 16, 17-year-old Middle Eastern kids that are disgruntled and whatnot in America, trap them into thinking, hey, you're talking to Muhammad Samadid or whatever, and he's saying, hey, I've got all the explosives, I've got the items, all you need to do is push the button on the cell phone and it'll be in the lockbox, and then you get there and you go grab the cell phone and you push the button, there's no bomb, nothing happens, but the intent is there. Now, boom, that's the FBI setting all these people up. So, man, it's like I don't know what's going on. Everything's a fucking psyop anymore. It's like, are we just repeating old tactics? Are we trying to jump into this future world of just arrest anybody on speech at this point? Like, it's getting...
Well, and with the Chud thing too, like, I don't consider that a pre-crime thing. I'm just saying, when the jury and the judge and they all examine the case, they're going to know the same things that we did. He went there to start shit and he had a gun on him. So, putting himself in that position, in that situation, I wasn't saying that we need to start tracking people, that post, I'm mad today.
No, I know you're not saying that. Yeah, I know. We continue. Yeah, sorry. I know you're not saying that.
I was just making it clear, like, people that review and things like that, like, no.
Yeah.
I'm definitely, we're all against AI here and the use of it to basically screw us up. And that's why, people I talk to about AI, the first thing I say, and it should be an obvious thing, but never even consider getting a microchip implanted in your fucking body. Don't do it. Whether it's the mark of the beast or not.
It's so easy to pay for my stuff and ID myself at the store when I'm buying liquor and alcohol and tobacco.
Well, and see, like, normal people, I guess you could convince of this, like, whether it being a bad sign, whether it being the mark of the beast or something you shouldn't do. But then you got this new transhumanism agenda.
Yep.
And, somebody help me out here. There's a group of people that it's like a sect of people that believe that humans will do better without any religious following at all, without any religious. It's like
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name of them, but yeah.
Because
it's a blinded faith kind of thing, and we just need to be in the moment and man, all that shit kind of ends up getting into Crowleyism too. Fucking
exactly. Crowley Satanism is what I see a lot of too.
Right. And, even if you're a nihilist, like, oh, I believe in nothing, you believe in nothing, you still believe in something. I mean, these people, even with like medical stuff too, all the people trust the science, like these people that say trust the science, half of them are atheists anyways, but then you're blindly following science as its own religion as well. It's like people are going to flock to some kind of something.
Well, yeah, it's like that whole time when everybody was being called science deniers. It's like, well, no, I'm not a science denier. I like to look up the science and try to read it and understand it. You just see it on the TV and you say it's true. So,
right.
You're not doing any research to make sure that what you're sharing is true. You're just trusting these fuckers.
I posted the other day. It's like, remember when they said, don't do your own research? Bitch, you mean reading? That. You mean reading?
Read. It's dangerous.
I mean, if you think about it, though, in the schools nowadays, the one subject that's going downhill, like at an unstoppable rate, is your reading skills. So they're trying to make society stupid shit right now.
Yeah, who's responsible for our education system? Who's responsible for the books and the curriculum that we're learning from?
You got it, dude. We're doing a virtual beer tap on that one. I know. Them little sneaky bastards with curly hair and tiny hats.
So, yeah,
it's wild. It's fucking wild. Well, you saw how now they're trying to tie our militaries together with these new bills that came out, right?
Yes, sir.
We're talking today with that pre-show, yeah.
And my boomer friends are losing their mind thinking I'm some fucking anti-Semite over it. I'm like, hey, let's put a couple things together real fast. Here's my thought on it. We, in the past 6 months, we've upped our age of the draft. We have also... It made automatic selective service, which is done anyways. We've all filled out our paper or card or whatever when you're 18, the way it used to be, where you have to literally mail it in or whatever. Now it's like, no, we did it for you, so you don't have to worry about it, which means, okay, enough people were defuncting on that, not doing it. But then we raise the age because most of the modern age right now is a bunch of fat trainee faggots that probably don't need to be drafted. So we're going to get older guys like us. And then my point is, what does the IDF have? They have required military service. So with the draft, the eligibility stuff and all that shit, I have a feeling that we're about to be blending to where we're trying to put, like our own people as their drafted people. What are your thoughts on that?
I've almost burned this card at least 25 times. This is my draft card. Everybody gets one selective service card. I won't have to worry about it because medical problems, my back and everything.
I've never got one.
I filled mine out in 2007 when I was 18, but I was also more like, grew up with guns and patriotic and all that shit. I'm still patriotic, but back then I was blinded to the stuff and I was just a dumb teenager. I wasn't going to sign up, but I was like, I'll put my name on the paper in case they need me to get some towel heads. And then years later, I'm like, oh, fuck, that was a psyop.
But what is the new age? What's the new ceiling?
42.
42?
Yep.
You're going to put 42-year-olds.
Because 42-year-olds aren't full of microplastics and SSRIs. That's the problem.
I understand that, but man, you can't have an army of 40-year-olds versus an army of 20-year-olds. Not like we're going to war on foot anymore anyways in this point, because it's all...
Yeah, no. Don't be so sure, man. You know, you forget that Iran is like 10 times the size of Iraq.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. 90+ million people.
If we're going to ground there, we're fucked.
We are. That's
we are toast. It's worse than Afghanistan on cliffs and hills and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they thought taking Baghdad was hard post Saddam Hussein getting taken down. Shit.
Well, and that's kind of the thing that I've been realizing too, and like when you go back and you start looking at like the breadcrumbs of, you know, first, you know, you can't get a state contract if you boycott Israel. Okay, sure. Well, then if you say XYZ, it's kind of a hate crime to say certain things. Okay, all right, whatever, maybe, okay. This is all over the last 10, 15 years. And over the last 10, 15 years, they've done the same thing the Muslims have done with Dearborn. They've taken over our local governments. They've taken over our state level representatives. Our state representatives have now been all fucking taken. And now we're passing stuff that is going to essentially turn the American public into Israel. So you've got compulsory service. Israel does too. We're going to be covering the IDF's pensions. Why would we be doing that if they're not American servicemen? And if we're going to be blending our militaries together for the cooperation and joint operations and sharing intelligence, where's our end of the bargain with that? Why can't I go to Israel and take a house if they're going to be part of America now? Right. Or is America the new Israel?
That house was promised to me 3,000 years ago, dude.
It was promised to me 20 minutes ago.
I think you're on with the America thing, because I think with enough Zionist control that we already have in this country, you're starting to see it. I mean, the media is controlled by, the media is controlled by them. Sports are controlled by them. Politics is now controlled by them, by money.
Music.
Say what?
Movies, music.
Yeah, media. We'll call it media.
Well, prime example. I'll give you a really
just got bought out for $30 million. Or Massey
and then AIPAC brags about it the freaking same day.
Yeah.
But if I said those exact same words by AIPAC, hey man, this is what happens when you take on a anti-Israeli stance. Hey Derek, that is anti-Semitic. And then AIPAC posts literally the same thing. They're like, "You go, girl." Like, what is happening?
Well, and this is the kind of shit we were trying to get through the libertarians' head the other day. It's like, what the fuck kind of progress do you think you can make when you have Israel out here spending $30 million just to make sure some guy from fucking Kentucky doesn't get a seat?
A guy that had already won unanimously like 7 or 8, 9 times in a row each time.
It happens anyways.
Yeah.
So there is no political solution at this point without getting this shit out of our system. So that was kind of, we had a good conversation the other night, but man, they don't see it. They're not realists.
I'm still a registered libertarian, honestly, just because that's my finger to the left and the right. And I'm like, well, I didn't even vote in the last election, so it doesn't even matter. But at the same time, even if I did, I took a vote away from you guys. I'm not going to vote for the libertarian candidates 90% of the time anyways, because they're retarded. And libertarians, their biggest problem is fucking libertarians. Like, they can't, you know what I mean? Like, the problem with hey, the government's too much in control, so let us control the government. No, you're not controlling it the way I want it controlled. And it's just a nightmare.
And not only that, but the libertarians, which I thought they had got past this part, but it's composed of liberals and Republicans. So it's not a true party.
It's fucking gays too.
Parties, I know, but that's part of the left. But it's a mix of two parties butting heads. You can't have a party with two parties already in it butting heads. That means you're not going to have a common goal. So they're just spinning their wheels.
Waste of breath.
We're
What do you
sliding.
guys think? Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, even Tucker, Candace, all these, like MAGA, right? Like, who gets to define MAGA? And it's like the goalpost changes every single week, every single tweet by Donald Trump of what defines MAGA at this point. MAGA
It's a
is
good thing I'm
dead.
not part of MAGA.
Yeah, well, I'm saying I think MAGA is dead, and I think the thing is like whatever MAGA was, I think it got taken from Trump in a good way because he just mismanaged the idea of like who doesn't want to make America great again. That sounds great on paper, but then the policies that followed through with it were like, this is not making anything great. And then it's funny that like Trump will call out Massey and say he's not MAGA, and you're like, I want to take foreign aid away from these other countries. I want to. What happened to make America great? America first,
Well, and at this point, too, I think if you told a candidate that they're anti-MAGA, that's actually good for their campaign. So I'm sure Massey's not crying about it.
100%. Yep.
I don't think MAGA was his to begin with. I think that was the same way the Chinese used a cartoon to get people 10 years later to drink coffee. I think MAGA was a tool all along and a seed all along. I don't think Trump was ever really in charge. I don't think he ever originally ran to even do anything. I think he liked the idea of it, and I think that he may have thought he could potentially do something. But I mean, if you get down to the grand base tax of it, like he's a businessman. That's it. He was put it forward. And the market has been fantastic since he's been president. Every time he's president, the market is through the fucking roof. The Dow's at 50K, as Dan Bundy like to say.
Pam bondage.
But I mean, you get to like right now, and with what I think too, Trump winning this election, and Joe Rogan puts this big thing about how the pivoting change in America was when Elon Musk bought Twitter. Okay, sure, I can see that. Whatever. But just this past week, they announced that the SpaceX IPO was going to go live. The entire market fucking tanked. I lost probably $700 just in my expenditures, just from the losses on every single thing. Everything tanked like fuck because they're all jumping on board with this. It's going to be the first trillion-dollar company to be listed on the market. Now, what's in that SpaceX IPO is also what's his internet company? Starlink.
Yeah, Starlink.
Starlink. So let's say they've been preparing for this whole time. You're going to give Starlink access to these data centers, and now you've got a global network. You've got the data centers on the ground feeding to the Starlink satellites in space that are now circumnavigating the fucking planet, communicating with each other. You now have a global network. And I think that's how they're going to do it.
You actually have a World Wide Web now. It's actually a web now.
A literal web. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I would have never put two and two together if I wasn't playing the market and seeing just which sectors and which stocks are like starting to fucking coincide with all these plans that they're talking about. And
here's another thing with Musk, with his, nobody ever. We all talk about Tesla. We talk about Boring Company. We talk about X, but nobody ever we don't talk about the Boring Company. Is what I meant to say. We talk about Tesla and SpaceX and all that shit. We don't talk about the Boring Company. So if he's worried about like what's above, then what's below, as above, so below kind of shit, right? You got all these billionaires building their underground bunkers and all these things. Elon's trying to basically put a World Wide Web, like you guys said, over us in a mass surveillance kind of state. And then it's like almost like, man, it's like a Truman Show in a way of like some shit's going to pop off. The billionaires get to go be like fall out and go hide in their bunkers while the rest of us goy fucking, peasants are up here fighting it out and they get to watch it like a reality show.
I think we're very, very close to slipping into V for Vendetta or the inspiration for V for Vendetta, which is
bingo. With the shit in UK right now, I was saying that last night, but dude, go for it. Go for it. What were you saying, Pat?
Oh, I said what I said.
What were you going to say? Is what I'm saying.
We're very close into heading into that society, and it's very slippery because the flock cameras are installed, the data centers are going up, the Starlink is up. It's almost like a rat in a cage, and he doesn't know that the cage was built around him.
Well, it's not illegal to put a garbage bag over flock cameras because you're not damaging their property at all. You're just adhering their field of view.
Hindering it, yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, all the electronic-based things, they're very, very fragile people. Very fragile.
Green lasers do fine work too, but like again, if you don't want to damage their property, which I'm not advocating for in any way, shape, or form, but like if you've got flock cameras, garbage bags are what, 100 bags for $1 at the dollar store.
All right, right. Well, like you just brought up, Pat, with V for Vendetta, I was literally saying that yesterday because my wife, she doesn't get on social media as much as I do, we do, and shit. So, there's crazy stuff in the world that I have to fill her in on. She thinks I'm full of shit half the time. She believes me after I'm like, no, fucking check this video. Like, oh, that's crazy.
It's the same over here, man, with all the people. It's the same.
And I love that in a way to where it's like, okay, you won't have 2 schizos running the household of 3 kids. But my point is like, I was showing her the UK protests and things like that. And I was showing her the Henry Novak video of the body cam footage that just came out the other day. So if the listeners aren't completely up to date on it, it was like December, November, January, somewhere at least like 6 months ago. This white dude, he's 18-year-old, 17-year-old, I think 18, leaves the pub, hanging out with some friends. He's walking home. He's got his phone out. He's video cameraing or whatever. And these 2 Sikh Indians walk past him, and then a confrontation occurs. And what happens is Sikhs in the UK are able to carry an 8-inch blade on them for religious reasons. 8-inch blade, bro. But okay, for religious reasons. But any other person in the UK cannot carry a gun, cannot carry a knife. I carry a folding box knife in my pocket every day because I'm a tradesman. Okay, so like that's illegal in the UK. But Indian that's not from the UK can carry an 8-inch blade on him for religious exempt reasons, right? Long story short. So he gets stabbed 8 times. Okay, then the 2 Sikh dudes, they freak out. They're like, oh shit, he's kind of fucked up. So they call the cops and they say, this guy knocked our turban off our head and he said all these racial slurs. Cops show up. The video shows that the cops don't even check him out. They handcuff him immediately after hearing that the Indians said that he was, saying racial slurs because it's apparently illegal to be racist. So they handcuff him. He says, I've been stabbed. I've been stabbed. They said, I don't think you have, mate. And then he dies before he even gets to the hospital, or as he gets to the hospital.
Were the police officers like Muslims, or are they?
No, they were white chicks and a couple dudes.
White Englishmen that did this.
Yes, they were, because they sell their own out because of the fucking crown. And it's sickening that now we're dealing with this shit where it's like, okay, where do we go with this? Like, the UK, the protests are going crazy right now. They look like fucking V for Vendetta, like the third part of the movie, like
and it's Tommy Robbins. Yes, been doing that for a couple of years now. I mean, it's just like, but they keep letting their local governments get swallowed up by foreign entities. So
they don't have a choice. And I think when it comes to the UK, as much as we talk about like looking at the California LA mayor, you mean to tell me out of 28,000 mail-in votes that one kid didn't get any of them? That's fucking bullshit.
Yes.
That's bullshit. But in the UK, where the entire government runs everything from their day-to-day lives to where you can't even have a TV or a window air conditioner without a license, they can absolutely control their local and state level elections. And even if they have state level, I don't really know. But like everything is run by their government. They're doing it on purpose.
Right. But their local elections are getting flooded by the Muslim immigrants. They're going there now, just like in Dearborn. Small example of what happened in England is that they came in, they breeded until they had enough generations of a certain age, and they pushed themselves right into these fucking offices with virtually no kickback because of the amount of numbers that they were working on.
Yes.
So that's why when I started seeing that shit in Dearborn, I wanted to sound an alarm because I've seen this before. I've already seen this once.
Right. Well, just a side tangent back to the boomers. It's the same shit like Tucker Carlson and a lot of people. Jimmy Dore will say like, okay, so we're going to go take out these brown people in these Middle Eastern countries because we've attacked Somalia. We've attacked fucking Syria. We've attacked all these other places. Everybody only talks about Afghanistan and fucking Iraq, right? And then now Iran. But the point is we've pretty much fucked up all of the Middle East, and then we've destroyed their housing. And then these people end up being the immigrants 5 to 10 years later that are fucking up your cities. And it's not necessarily the immigrants' fault per se, because if we wouldn't have fucked their shit up, then they wouldn't be here. So this is what happens with endless wars that make no sense, is we're displacing people all of these different places that they don't belong, different cultures they can't coexist with. And then we're stuck with, well, a guy from India in the UK can carry a blade, but a guy from the UK for 5 generations can't carry anything on him. Like, like it's fucking insane. And then back to, like you said, V for Vendetta. Like, I'm proud of the UK right now, because if you watch these protest videos, I don't know if anything's going to come out of them, but good for them, because they're sitting there chunking trash cans at the cops and shit. They're outnumbering the cops. And I'm like, okay, I love cops in a way, but also it's funny where the people are saying, like, he just hit me with a trash can. And you'll hear like 20 people yell, I don't think you have, mate. And it's like, dude, it's turning into a thing now. Like, it's fucking hilarious.
But at the same time, like, those protesters, they don't have the same capacity of force as their government. They don't have the same capacity of force as the
culturally, the average British person isn't as much capable of violence as we are.
No,
it's
but
not culturally. They're a censored culture altogether. And you'll get like the brawlers, you'll get your drunks and shit like that. But like, I don't think anything's gonna come from it except for the optics. I think they can show their government that they mean business, show their government they're just happy, displeased, whatever. But is it gonna come down to tearing down the gates of Buckingham? No, I don't think so.
No.
They can't show that they're serious because they don't have the means of force to provide that. Like, I mean, I go back to the force doctrine a lot, but if you can't make something happen, then it's not something that you have a right to do or anything like that, because you just can't do it. So they can protest all they want, but if they can't physically do something that would threaten other people, like actually put them back, they don't have to do anything. The government can do whatever they want.
Yeah, and I think both of you guys are right on the fact that they can't do anything physically, but I think we're living in a powder keg environment all around the planet, whether it's flat or round, whatever. The thing is right now is that you can censor people and stifle people so much. You can sit there and gaslight people so much. You can disarm them and strip their rights away so much and pretend it's not happening, to where eventually that shit is boiling over. It's inevitable, whether it's America, whether it's the UK, whether it's anywhere. And I'm not necessarily advocating for that. I'm just saying, in just history itself, you can't keep doing this to mass populations of people. And in history times, we're talking thousands or hundreds of thousands of people. We're talking millions and billions now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're talking mass, but there's also that, like you said, if they don't have means for protection, then we'll end up in a situation where it's like, okay, America helping out England in World War II or something potentially, or whatever, like where the other guy that does have the guns might come in and help. And that would possibly be a justifiable thing or something potentially. I'm just saying, like, yeah, dude, there's something about to pop off in every fucking corner of the planet right now.
Well, we had exactly this in 2019. In the end of the summer, by the end of the summer in 2019, we had freedom protests on every corner of the planet, from China to here to the UK to Africa. Everybody was protesting government corruption. And then what happened 2 months later? China released COVID and quelled all of that. They smashed all of that. You know how many protesters went missing during that first couple months? Fucking millions. Millions of Chinese got black bagged and burned alive in these goddamn, COVID internment camps. And and we're reaching that point again, to where I don't think they'd be able to do it again. We saw with hantavirus, we shut that shit down real quick. You don't see shit about that anymore. And the only thing they were using that about was to cover up all the pedophile shit with Disney cruises. They were trying to scare you with hantavirus to cover up that. So it's like the people in charge, right? And the people in power are scrambling. Oppression is a 24/7 thing, and it takes. And this is a Star Wars quote too. There's gonna be holes in it, and the ship is fucking leaking. They can't keep the charade up for much longer. And if they do, they're gonna have to go with the nuclear option and put a dirty bomb somewhere and make the public fear them again.
Good old Samson option.
Another false flag.
Yeah, the false flags are coming, bro. Like, here's my thoughts, and I don't like making predictions, but there's just so much division and so much shit going on right now. Let's just say specifically in the U.S., whether it's race relations, whether it's this Israel and USA connection and all this shit like we've been talking about. What really agitates people in a simple form is heat. Okay, so in the hotter summer times, that's when we've seen the George Floyd protests. That's when we saw the 2019 protests you're talking about everywhere. People, when they get uncomfortable, whether it's just physically, mentally, whatever, they lose their shit. And so I feel like that's almost this play they're using at this point, is knowing that like by summertime, when everybody's going to start getting miserable and uncomfortable, release the psyops on racism, release the psyops on anti-Semitism and this and that. And then we organize these big protests again. And like Sam Tripoli says, like the No Kings or some of these other protests, the Pussy Hat protests years ago and shit like that. If you don't have like a means, like if you don't have a, like, this is our demand, this is what we are demanding from this protest, it's not a real protest. So we're kind of saying like these are all psyops as well, but I would not doubt we've got 2 or 3 protests coming up.
Well, people don't want to listen either. They you see a protest start, there's a big ass fucking box full of 150 signs that are all printed the exact same. It's like, this is not grassroots, guys.
Yeah.
So
somebody's grandma made them.
Well, it's same with a protest. If a protest doesn't have demands, what with the No Kings shit? What is your point? No Kings, cool, we get it. We fought 250 years ago. We know that already. What is your point? What are you offering as a solution to No Kings? Nothing? Then shut the fuck up and get off the streets.
Yeah, it's yeah, I have nothing to add to that. That's perfect. That's exactly what it is.
Well, have you guys seen the Sean Strickland shit?
I mean,
yeah,
get out of
fucking badass, dude.
It's really funny. It's really funny too because my MMA stock was up.
Is it? Yeah.
It's up like 15 cents, dude.
Well, man, every time him or like Justin Gaethje fight, stocks go up. So
yeah, Strickland is one of my favorites, anyways, because like I had just seen clips of him fighting forever, and I was like, that guy's badass. And then I started seeing his post-fight interviews. I was like, oh, I couldn't love you anymore. Holy shit.
Oh, dude. And then he put on the yarmulke and the braids, and he's like, I'm sorry, Israel's the greatest. He's like, am I allowed back now?
Yeah, that fucking photo. He said this fight was promised to me 3,000 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
He just put out a video the other day. It just total hilarious smart assery of like, guys, I got some apologies to do. You know, I haven't been Israeli enough. That's why I haven't been invited. You know, I call out this. And he starts making like points, and he's like, maybe I was wrong. Maybe he's just like cracking up the whole time. He's trying to keep a straight face and everything, but he's great about it. Cause I mean, it's almost like Dana White, he kisses Trump's ass so much, and they've known each other for years. Okay. But in this time of kind of turmoil and whatnot, you know, Dana White at that last Trump assassination, wink, wink, Dana White said, I didn't get down. I thought it was fucking badass or whatever. You're like, so he's this like energy chaser kind of guy. Like, I think Dana White is thinking there's going to be some fucking assassination attempt or whatever. I think BB's supposed to be there, and all these other people are supposed to be there. It's on the White House lawn. Like, it's almost like, you know, you're setting up a movie for the big catcha kind of moment. But anyways, dude, fucking Strickland is a goat right now of just trolling the shit out of everybody.
And we need the Stricklands. We need the Kill Tonys. We need the Shane Gillises out there to continue to talk that shit, you know, to continue to be out there and say what's on their mind, say funny shit, even though they know they're going to get in trouble for it. Because it's the only thing that's going to bring us out of this.
You can't even get in trouble for it anymore. The cancellations are done with, bro.
No,
the when you try to cancel it, good luck.
Let me finish. As a society, if we can't get to the point where everybody can come together and laugh at this dark humor, this nasty fucking humor, which is hilarious, we're never going to get there to begin with, because that's everybody's too offended. We're still in this period of time in the U.S. or the country that everybody just gets too fucking offended at each other. And like you said, you can't cancel people anymore, thank God. But
we're not, though. We're past that to the point to where like anybody who's mad about the Kevin Hart roast isn't anybody of any value of their opinion. You've got not Tyler the Creator, what's his face? Charlemagne was talking about in the George Floyd. Oh, the George Floyd was just too much. Shut the fuck up, dude. You're literally only disagreeing for clout. You're only disagreeing so you can keep your leftist liberal money. That's the only reason any of these people actually said anything negative about it. Because if you actually watched it, the people that were the unfunniest were the leftists and the liberals. They had the most terrible jokes. They were pointed, they were bad, and most of them were fucking wrong.
Well, here's the funny thing about that is, okay, who gives a fuck about the internet's opinion? What are the people that paid money for a comedy roast in the fucking room? Are they laughing or are they not? Because every time those things that were outrageous, controversial quotes or jokes,
I heard people
the crowd laughed. They laughed.
It murdered.
Well, and then speaking of murder, okay, so Tony makes the George Floyd joke, which is fucking hilarious. But at the same time, when Pete Davidson is up there and is, directing jokes at Tony Hinchcliffe at that point, most people, no, I've never heard anybody say a damn thing about when he said Tony Hinchcliffe and Charlie Kirk have a lot in common. They both like taking loads in the throat.
Yep.
Nobody lost their mind over that.
Yep.
No.
They were both people that were murdered, right?
Here's a little fun tidbit about that though too. When Tony Hinchcliffe went up, magically his teleprompter stopped working. So everything he did after the first like 5 seconds was just straight off the cusp. He's like, he's like, that's when he's talking shit about Kevin Hart's necklace. He's like, you're actually wearing a decent necklace. Otherwise, I would have said it'd be a bracelet for a regular sized black man. He's like, anyways, like, yeah, you could tell right where he like started going off the cusp and started rattling this shit off.
I was surprised from the get-go that they picked Shane to host it, which I think Shane did a great job. But I also was like, are they setting Shane up? You know what I mean? This is going to be a black crowd that's going to mostly watch this because it's Kevin Hart and everybody else that's on there. And we're going to try to get the fat, chubby white guy, get him in trouble for saying racist shit.
Oh, and it was great. It was all great.
They should have learned. I mean, if they watch Kill Tony or anything, that's what I was telling Derek, I think, is if you know who these guys are, that means you know what kind of comedy they do. So you paid these guys to come in and make fun of you, and you're mad about it? Like,
when the only people mad about are these leftist liberals like that are looking for like cool talking points, whatever. Nobody there was mad, and nobody that got made fun of was mad about any of it. Even Kevin Hart is like Kevin Hart's been like staunchly, even to Charlemagne, was like, Tony did what he did. He's a roast comic. Are you fucking kidding me? This is what it's a roast. Shut the fuck up.
Well, and then Chelsea Handler, of all the people that were there, like, you know how many jokes were directed at freaking oh crap, what's her name? The black girl with the big hair, Cheryl Underwood. And she's been a champ about the whole thing. She went on Kill Tony the week after, and she's been on Shane's podcast afterwards. Shane's like, dude, they wrote these jokes for me. Like, this is the thing that people don't understand is like the jokes I said about her husband. He's like, I called her to make sure these are okay for me to say them. Yep. And it's like, that's the community of comedy, is that they're willing to break the ice and, ruffle some jimmies for some laughs because the world is shit. But the biggest piece of shit on the stage was Chelsea Handler. Like, she can't stop talking about sucking off 50 Cent 20 years ago. Like, that's her claim to fame. And and she brags, she's fooled feminists everywhere. She's a miserable cunt is what she really is. And now the window is closing and nobody's going to marry her. Nobody, you know what I mean? Like, so she's just miserable. She's the biggest, loudest one out of this whole situation. Going on all these podcasts and going on black guys podcasts, be like, I feel for you, brother. Like, she didn't say that, but she, you know what I mean? You could tell she's like, that joke about George Floyd was so bad.
Yeah, she's a pick me for sure.
Only worse is Amy Schumer.
Yeah, Schumer, her, and shit, what's her name? Oh, Sarah Silverman.
Oh God,
no, Sarah Silverman gets a little gross, but like some person I think is funny.
Well, some of her stuff is funny, but
I don't care if it's funny at all. That is a shit person.
Yes, that's exactly my point. These are these comedy bitches that think, I want to come out there and make all my pussy jokes. And then they're like, but this other guy said some racist thing. And you're like, hey, bitch, there's 20 videos of you 10 years ago saying that same shit. Now it's just outrage culture to keep you relevant. Fuck you, Chelsea Handler. Fuck you, Sarah Silverman. Because the only reason they're still relevant is they pop up on a podcast to bitch about somebody else, not what they've done recently,
Yeah, on that next episode of Kill Tony, he said something too. He was like, hearing from people's opinions whose all their entire career was reading off of teleprompters, never had an original thought in their life. Yeah, he nailed it. That
whole episode was killer, dude. That's the one with Cheryl on it. And it was like, dude, he addressed all the shit. Like, he came out scorched earth on fucking Chelsea. But the funny thing is Tony, this is comedy, man. Like, where you're going to have jokes directed at you. If you're going to put what you put out in the world is going to come back to you, right? So if you're going to put jokes out there, people are going to joke on you. Welcome to the famous or the internet. But Tony, he reads the room to the point of like, oh, everybody thinks I'm gay and suck black dicks. So Tony will be like, oh, girl, and do a hand wrist flip and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he'll just to where it's like it takes the power away from the people trying to make power against him. It's where it's like, okay, cool, I'll lean into it. It's like when somebody calls you an anti-Semite or homophobe or a racist, and you're like, yeah, sure. What do you got?
Well, he grew up in like the blackest neighborhood in Ohio. In all of Ohio, he grew up in like the blackest part. So yeah, the only thing he's got to do is roast people because that's how you live in a low income environment. That's how you live in that environment. Yeah,
Yes,
Pat
sir.
included. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how you deal with motherfuckers, bro. You just roast the shit out of each other. And if you roast yourself while you're doing it, you took their ammo. So now, hey, fuck you, idiot. What do you got to say? You know what I mean? Like
Well, and
it's
the thing
genius.
is,
It's fucking genius.
it's not only genius, but it actually becomes a necessity. So, like in my life, and as I've grown up, it's not so much anymore. But when you're talking shit, you're not just talking shit to try to one up somebody. You want to hear what they got back. Like me laughing requires you to talk shit to me. Like I really enjoy it. So, like growing up like that, you'd have roasting sessions just because it's fun. So I mean, you got to be able to take these licks, and people just can't take licks anymore.
Right. Well, hey, dude, it comes full circle, man. People hear words and they go fucking crazy, want to kill people over words. And, at the end of the day, we need to listen to the court jester. The court jester was the only one that could actually get away with making fun of the king. And if the king didn't like it, he'd fucking kill your ass. But at the same time, it's like he was the only one that could do it at one point at least. That's where, as we're bringing this to a close, like we need to be able to laugh about things, guys. Everybody has differences. I'm sorry. Stereotypes exist for a reason. They're based off of something. Do black people like fried chicken and watermelon? Yes, they do. Do white people still copper? Do white people steal copper and catalytic converters? Yes, they do. Do Mexicans like tacos? Yes, they do. Do gays like fucking kids? Yes, they do. I'm just saying, like, stereotypes come from somewhere. But anyways, just bringing it to a close.
For the record, I love chicken and watermelon. Like
I do too. That's what I'm saying.
It's in my DNA.
Yeah. Dude, that's I'm born in Africa, No, that's my roots. No, guys. Dude, Pat, Sly, this was fucking awesome. Thank you guys for coming on today. Tell everybody where they can find you, and let's get on out of here.
Absolutely.
Nobody's pounding it. There we go.
I pounded.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, hey guys, tell everybody where they can find you, and we'll get on out of here and do this again soon.
Mr. Sly, go ahead and tell them about our podcast.
You can find us at Welcome to the Foxxhole with 2 X's on Facebook, YouTube /Smokestacks. That's KZ. And then, every Friday, 8 p.m. Central or Eastern. Well, I don't know, whatever it is. You'll find us on the page.
And we also run little secret shows and things like that here and there. So just kind of stay tuned on the page and we put stuff out.
Right on, guys. Well, hey, thanks for having me on your shows before. Thanks for coming back on my show. Thanks for coming on the first time, Pat.
Yes,
we'll do this again soon. Guys, loosen up in the world. The world's already everybody's got their buttholes clenched. Fucking loosen up a little bit and have some fun. Laugh a little bit,
Exactly.
If the sink's shipping, at least tell a damn joke. Who gives a fuck?
Thank you.
Fuck yeah.
All right. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, guys. Don't forget, we out here putting the ass in classy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.